I bought a church. And we are in the church right now. It is exciting and makes me anxious all at the same time because I've done renovations, I invest in real estate, and I have quite a lot of properties, and 90% of my properties, when I buy them, I immediately renovate them just so I can put my own touch. I know things are good and new, and so I'm not going to worry about the property for a while. I buy what they call starter homes. They need work, like cosmetic work most of the times, and maybe replacing a furnace here and there. However, this is huge. Like, my experience in renovation is nowhere near the magnitude of this. Now, of course, I just bought a 12,000 square foot house, but that is a new build, which is different from renovations. Renovating a church, which is old, means it's gonna have a lot of issues. Makes me nervous and anxious a little bit, but I'm more excited. The whole church is 15,000 square feet. This floor, which is the church part, is 9,000 square feet, and then we have a 6,000 square feet basement. A little bit of a story about the church and how I ended up buying a church is I was looking for an office building for 3 years. Now, I have experience in looking for like particular things. It took me 3 years to find my house land, and I gained so much experience from that. I wrote so many letters because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. I went on the county website, looked at people that had a lot of land, messaged them, hey, can you sell me your land? I bought 260 acres of land, and I did the same thing. I looked at someone that had, a lot of property. It was listed for sale, but I came up with an idea where I'm like, hey, why don't you split it? Sell me half, you have the other half. It'll make it easier for you to sell it because now you're selling it for a bit less money. And then I'm buying the other part. It was a great idea that worked out for both of us. If you're looking for real estate or if you're looking for specific things, the first thing you have to decide on is the location, which I knew the location I wanted my office building to be in. And two, have a budget to know, like, this is the absolute maximum I'm gonna go, but at least you have like a starting point. With the office building, I needed to be in a specific location. Problem with that location is everything was so expensive. Whatever was within my budget just wasn't cutting it. It was like little buildings, old buildings that had been converted or I would need to convert. They did not have enough parking. I needed a decent amount of parking. I needed at least to park 40 cars. And everything else that was perfect was so expensive. I wasn't ready to spend that amount of money for the office for this particular business. I was like on a time crunch by the time I decided to buy the church. Our lease at the old office was expiring on July 31st, 2023. The first time I visited the church was 2022. It was kind of within my budget, but it needed a lot of work. And to renovate it, I needed to buy it for an amount of money that would leave me enough within my budget to be able to renovate it. I was listed for like 1.1 million, maybe 1.2. And my maximum budget was $1.3 million. For an office building. Went to them, gave them an offer of $750,000. That was going to leave me enough budget to do the renovations. This was an estate sale, so negotiating with these people took a long time that it didn't need to take. Now, early 2023, I had 6 months. So the two options were, one, find something like ASAP to buy, or two, go rent another office building. I explored both options. And I believe my last vlog I did sometime last year, I was going around to look at the final options for an office building. And then that very day, I also went to see an option for rent. Looking at that option, it would have worked for the space that we needed. It was going to be over $12,000 a month to rent it, which is insane. I invest in real estate, and I know anytime you're renting, you're just making another landlord richer. So I was like, okay, I have the money for a down payment. Why would I rent when I could buy? So then at that point, I was like, let me go back to the church people. It fit the location. It was kind of in the budget. It fit the parking spots that I needed. So we went back to the church people. The first time around, we offered them $750,000. Didn't work out. So the second time around, I went in at $850,000. My realtor negotiated, took like a month for them to come back. They came back at like 900,000. I said my absolute maximum that I'm gonna pay for this is 850,000. They came back at like 875, and at that point I was like, you know, we're just like playing games here. So we split it and we went with 862,500, which I thought was a good deal. Anywho, we closed with, I believe we had like 1 month to spare. I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. So initially I had conflicting feelings about buying a church, because it's like, this is God's house, and now I'm buying it to turn it into an office building. But then I was also thinking, my business is going to be in a blessed house already. The basement is already made to where it already had offices in it. I was so worried. I didn't want my employees to work in a dungeon. I can't have people working in a place they hate. But then when they moved in, everyone had space. They seemed happy, which took a lot of stress off of me, knowing like I don't have to rush with the renovations for the church. I've talked to a few architects. I want to make it so cool. With the experience that I have in renovating all the houses I've been buying, and also the experience with building my house, I think I'm kind of ready to take on this project. Now let's do a quick tour of the church. The other thing about this church is that it was a church and then someone bought it and they turned it into a wedding reception area. It has like a bar, it had a commercial kitchen. Right now we use this church for our events. We do get-togethers for our employees and our clients. So there's the door that goes out to a little patio thingy, and then there's the main door. There's also another door here, and of course this mini kitchen, and then that's where they were serving stuff at. There's another door over there. Let's go to where the commercial kitchen is. This came with all the stuff that we're using for the wedding business. And I have so much glasses and plates and serveware. Guess that's a coffee machine. Look at all these racks, I guess for the breads and desserts and whatever. There's so much stuff. Now let's go back this way. There's bathrooms here. This is the women's. There's the men's. And then we'll walk down this back to the church. So we're going up the stairs. I think this is where the choir used to be, but also when it was a wedding venue, this is where the DJ was. And look at all these CDs. So many. And then we have all these speakers, which of course we're gonna keep because I love a good party. The other thing I really love, man, this ceiling is just gorgeous. It's like beyond beautiful. I'm excited and I hope you guys want to follow along on the renovations. I'm actively starting to work with architects to like redesign, and I hope you guys want to be here for the journey. So let me know in the comments if you want to see the whole process for this.